could you just comment on phosphorus and its importance, and is the structure itself important?
We don't look at the structure this way in the world of plasma. We look at it as a singularity. And in so many ways, phosphor and its interaction with the sulfur is part of the process which gives physicality to man. If you look at the plasmatic condition of sulfur and phosphor, you'll find the interaction and the presence of both sulfur and magnesium leads to the creation, absorption of the fields, which then become calcium, which become the center of every cell of the body of the man. In one of the glands in the body of the man, the process in the thymus allows the field radiation to and for elements of the fields of the phosphor and the sulfur in the digestion system of the man to lead to the magnetic gravitational field of absorption and creation of what we call vitamin D, especially D3, which in essence allows the bone marrow to create a condition of the pull of these fields in the essence of the totality for the intestine to release plasmatic fields in the strength of the calcium that in passing through the wall of the intestine into the lymph and then their passage through the bone to convert them in the bone structure into the calcium and the seed of what we call every cell in the body of the man. There is not a single cell in the body of the man which does not have calcium as a center. And this has a reason. And in that process, if you look in the backbone of the physical creation, even in interaction with the DNA, DNA cannot exist if it's not attached to a calcium plasmatic condition. So in so many ways, phosphor is the last barrier between the physicality and the field energy of the universe in the dimension of the atmospheric magnetic field of the Earth. And within the what are called sealed body of the man, in this plasmatic environment of the capsule of his skin, phosphor plays a controlling role inside, and thymus and thalamus together work within the what we call another gland inside the thalamus and inside the thymus to create the condition of the fields which the interaction of these two leads to the plasmatic control of the phosphor in the intestine and in what we call the gut of the man. In a way, is a controlling system. And for monotonous food eaters like the people in the North Pole, which don't have access to so much variation of food, the body creates a condition that it changes the phosphor to sulfur and sulfur to phosphor and uses chlorine. And then in the back of it, if you look at the true magnetic field interaction of the oxygen as a double oxygen in a way O2, which gives you something around about 32, 34, which sits within the structure of phosphor and sulfur, then we understand how even man creates these materials without eating them. And then this is a dimension of plasmatic fields interactions. In a way, in the body of the man, two nitrogen or two oxygens in a specific combination within the existence of the plasmatic film of the fields of the radiation coming especially from potassium will give and allows the amalgamation and creation of the phosphorus and sulfur and the division of these in creating and holding life. Man has no physical life if he hasn't got the calcium. So the body has created the condition of the interaction of the energy fields, because in the body of the man we are not matter state, of the field strength of what we call phosphorus in a condition of the continuity and absorption of the fields, where with the sulfur in connection with the high level of the energies which come from the soul of the man, we call them hormones, lead to creation of hormones of D3 or D, or other hormones. And we find this as part of the process of understanding the totality of the physical creation of the man. In a way, if you look at the calcium in about 40, and then you start playing with the existence of the carbon as an interconnector and sulfur, then you see how calcium is created out of the elements of the matter state and the amino acid or fatty acid, as you call it. The knowledge of the existence in the presence of sulfur in connecting of its different plasmatic field strengths to become what we call interaction with the phosphorus to become the backbone of DNA. This all leads to the continuity of the existence of life in the matter state of the planet Earth. And in so many ways, you got to always look in the energy pack as a GANs, not in the matter state as we see in these dimensions. Those of you who are familiar with the works of the what we call biology and medicine, you should understand this very, very clearly and very comfortably. And this should lead to the development and creation of new, what you call medicines, plasmatic medicines, where the effect will be rapid and the creation of the calcium in the body of the man will become, in a way, controlling embodiment of the structure of even your T cells and B cells like T4 and the rest. In so many ways, as in the beginning of the teachings I explained, if you put the what we call the hormone, which comes from the thalamus of the body of the man, which is connected to sulfur in the interaction, and the presence of the phosphorus in the central structure of the body of man in intestine, we see how calcium is absorbed from any structure of the existence of the carbon and hydrogen, where if by just breathing and having the right structure will create this condition, then many of you understand in so many ways how you lead yourself to depression, high blood pressure. In a way, if you look at it, it's very simple. Only you need is 2 hydrogen. These 2 gives you 32. The 6 gives you 38. And gives you the 40, which is your potassium and calcium in deviation of the field strength of the plasma. In a way, you just need the essence of the amino acid to create any elements in combination of the field interaction of the body, from the phosphorus to bone structure calcium, and in addition to another combination of oxygen on a third level, will lead to creation of iron. This is why humanity can live on this planet, because it uses the combination of the easiest present, what we call particles of amino acid, by creating different pressures and field forces we call hormones to create the condition of life. In so many ways, mankind has now become very much knowledgeable in this respect. Then we understand any combination, you add another carbon, or you add a carbon and a nitrogen, and you will come to understand you reach to the other factors in the essence of the creation. If you carry the knowledge which we have, you give me a hydrogen and I can create you the creator. Where by bringing all the elements of the energy of the hydrogen field strength together, I can create the field of the plasma of the solar. So in that process, if you go through the process of number of oxygens and carbons or whatever, in the right atmospheric condition manifestation, you can make any cell of life. You can make any combination of life. And in so many ways, in the interaction of the fields, we bring this process and we lead to the creation of life anywhere in the universe. I need just one plasma, that from it, I can create any matter state in any dimension. And that one single plasma is the creator. Then you understand what you call plasma of the phosphorus or sulfur is interaction of the fields. That's why you have so many glands. The glands are the creator and control of the mixture of different carbon and hydrogen. When you look at the basic hormones, that's what you see. And then you connect it to the field strength of the higher order, it becomes a hormone. And then, as we said, in the world of plasma technology, the stronger and the bigger gives to the weaker. When you have a combination of the sulfur or phosphor connected with the amino acid, and then you have another cell which is the same again, then you see the stronger feeding. You don't need the neurosystem. You don't need the blood circulation. Neurosystem tells it where to be, and the blood circulation, it brings its motion back to what to be in the solar. The process of creation is very simple. Is man was made it difficult due to his own lack of understanding of the process of interaction and division and the strength and collection of the fields. When you call it the cell of the toe, when you call it the cell of the brain of the man, and in depending on where it is and what field it receives from the soul of man, in combination with what you call hormones, which is a bigger pack organization than the cell, then it becomes very apparent how life is created on this planet or anywhere else in the universe. If our scientists who at the time when they made these terminologies, would have shared the correct knowledge, the correct division and understanding of it, they wouldn't have hidden it in different words like hormones and vitamin D or vitamin E, that we understood vitamin E's are all radiation fields and all the D's are hormone related field packages. Then it would have been very easy for all of us to understand the world of biology and chemistry and the creation. Our theologists created the mayhem in the understanding of the field transfer, and our scientists created the bigger mayhem by creating misunderstanding in the physical dimension. And when you put the two together, you get the soul and the Holy Ghost. In so many ways, the lack of understanding of both has led mankind to the present time of not knowing where his soul is and not knowing how his physicality functions and is created. Any other question?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Keshe. We have Wallace.
I hope I answered your question.
Quite extensively, I'd say. Thank you. We have Wollaston up here with a hand up, so we can allow him to talk. And Salamia's after that. Also, a couple of questions in the Q&A. Hello, Wollaston. Can you go ahead?
Bom dia, conseguem me ouvir?
I think we may need a translator. Is that correct? Spanish translator? Is that true? Okay, there's Raphael. You should be able to let him handle the situation here. Go ahead.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Ok, Alisson, pode falar, por favor.
Antes de tudo, desejar bom dia para o Henrique, para o senhor Keshe, para você e para todos. Minha pergunta é se o homem tem entendimento de mudar esse comportamento na alma em relação ao fósforo e todo esse processo, se ele consegue mudar o DNA dele.
So the question from Alisson is if the man has this understanding of changing the behavior of his soul in relation with the phosphor, as you said, if we can change the DNA inside ourselves.
You, in a way, can evolve part of your DNA, or you can create different interactions between the energy packs of the DNA of your physicality. And in time, mankind will do that. Mankind used to be able to do that. We see it, we understand it in the application of the fields of animals, how they change their colors, how they camouflage, how they replace ligaments or part of their body which is amputated. We see in a zebrafish how even he has the capability to regenerate a new heart if he loses or damages his heart. If you remember a couple of years ago when we got involved with the university in Ghana with a bunch of zebrafishes, the new cycle of what we call research, these fishes are transparent, and if you take their heart out, they can replace their heart, they can reproduce. So the knowledge exists within the DNA of the creation and created. It's just that we have blinded ourselves to the knowledge. Or due to the comforts of time or in a position ignorance of knowledge, we have allowed it to let go. But those who have stuck to it, or they have evolved it better, they have created a spectrum of changes. If you put a combination of all the creatures on this planet, you'll find we have a perfect life. And it's the true essence of the creation. The birds, which can change their color, the animals, which can change their skin according to the temperature and the position and emotion, the animals which change their organ as they wish, and the creatures which have the capability to reconstruct the part of the body when it changes or damaged. And then we see we have the collection of the knowledge. It's just that, can mankind bring all this together to the benefit of his existence in the depths of the space and on this planet? If we exist within the dimension of the amino acids of what we call DNA of an animal or a being on this planet, so exists within the same structure of the man. We have to learn to tap into it. It's us who has forgotten the path to home. Then mankind should be able to do, if you amputate your arm, you can regrow it. If you have a fear of a position, you show it with the color. If you move in the depths of the ocean, you can transfer and use the energy of the depth of ocean and the heat to your own existence. And like, as I said, the crabs and other animals live in the depths of the ocean. If they can do it, we can do so. It's just that we have become lazy. We have become disoriented in the knowledge of what we carry. This is why I said, when we leave man suddenly in the depth of the universe, man will not die because he has the path and the knowledge to the Creator. How can he die? If man on this planet has managed to, in a way, camouflage itself in the name of whatsoever, then man can camouflage himself in the space because he carries the soul of the Creator. And this is what mankind has run away from the truth. And this is what we have to understand. In so many ways, it's us who have forgotten us and have forgotten the path we came. And with these teachings, we are taking you back there, showing you the light you left behind to show the path to the back, to the source, to the essence of creation. And at the same time, to leave a light for the development and evolution of the next step. It's not that our cycle of life is the end. We evolve the way our past generation evolved to become us who are now. In the coming time, us and through our process of present life and our future generations, we create that evolution for our future generation to stand the new environments of this planet and the universe and universe. This is us who has to understand this process. This is us who has ignored the evolution of the science of creation and creator.